Hey guys, I got several minutes left before I head back to work from lunch, but I wanted to come on here and kind of give my thoughts so far on what WWE is doing as far as the direction going into Survivor Series um, in a couple weeks, and just give my thoughts on how I feel about the direction that they're going in, and what may or may not happen. Now, a lot of people would say this is a good thing for WWE to do. Most importantly, it's a good thing for NXT. Mostly because of like I was saying, mostly when it comes to, NXT and everything, that basically it's a good look for them. It helps, people that may not know about NXT or know about some of the superstars involved with NXT. It gives a national-wide, worldwide audience a better opportunity to get to know who these people are. And I like that. I really do like that. I mean, you're giving exposure to a brand that you're pretty much, finally putting some faith into and basically saying, okay, ball's in your court on Wednesday nights, let's see what you can do. But it also shows that WWE, mostly Triple H and even Vince McMahon, are not playing around when it comes to this thing with AEW. Now, as cool as it is, as cool as it is to know that, this year's Survivor Series, that several of the champions versus champions matches are going to be triple threat three-way dances, from the women's match to the tag team title match to the matchup between, the North American, United States, and then the Continental Champions, and maybe even, the SmackDown and NXT champion, despite, those changes and differences, if you will, I have to come out and say this, and that is, and I told Alex this, just Alex, Deluxe Man, one time in a super chat. And I think it was actually this past Friday I gave him a super chat on it. And I told him I was kind of worried about NXT going into Survivor Series. And I even talked about that again in my wrestling talk video I did this past Sunday. And the reason I worry about NXT, in case you guys are wondering why, is not the fact that I don't think NXT will be made to look strong, will be made to succeed and come out victorious of this entire invasion situation. I'm not saying that. What I'm afraid is the fact that right now Vince McMahon's throwing NXT a bone to get them over. To get them over not because of brand supremacy, no, but to get them over as basically saying, they're the better product over AEW. Look what they can do. Look what they can bring to the table. Because that's all it really is when you think about it. When you really take time to think about it, that's all it really is in the end. It's not about NXT being superior or putting NXT over RAW and SmackDown in the end. It's actually about proving that NXT is the better product, is the better solution when it comes to the Wednesday night wars between them and AEW. And again, this is why I feel NXT could be in trouble at Survivor Series, because what I believe is going to happen is, like I said before, I think Vince may allow maybe a few matches to go in their favor. He may allow the mid-card title champion versus champions match to go in their favor. He may allow the tag team triple threat to go in their favor. He might even go as far as to say, hey, let's put Shayna over Becky and Bayley. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think what's going to happen is he's going to have whatever women's champion he wants on the main roster, whether it's Becky or Bayley. He's going to have the Fiend, if he goes in that direction, of SmackDown, the Universal Champion. He's going to have them go over the NXT champion, the representation of the champions of NXT in their matches. Like, he's going to have Becky or Bayley go over Shayna. or win the match involving Shayna, whether Shayna's involved in the pinfall or not. They're going to have The Fiend basically go up against Adam Cole and basically destroy Adam Cole and go over him. And then as far as the elimination match goes, that might be another bone he throws them. But I fear that with both the men and the women, if they do this in that kind of manner, that he may give the women's elimination match to NXT, but he's not going to give the men's match to NXT. He'll give it to the main roster. So basically, NXT may be able to look strong, but if you look at it from a match perspective, like depending on how many matches there is, I could predict, and hopefully I'm wrong, but I could predict 1 or 2, maybe 3 matches going in their favor. I can predict the tag title match going in their favor, or the tag team champions versus champions match going in their favor. I can predict the mid-card champions match going in their favor. I can even predict the women's elimination Survivor Series 3-team match going in their favor. I can predict that. So they got 3 matches probably under their belt that they're going to walk away with victories with, or walk away victorious in at Survivor Series. However, as far as the other matches go, the possible Fiend versus Adam Cole, the men's elimination 3-team match, and the women's champions match, or triple threat 3-way dance. I see those matches going in the main roster's favor no matter what. And if that happens, then pretty much Survivor Series is going to be equal footing. It's basically what it's going to be in the end, whether anybody wants to hear this or not, is by basically from a brand perspective, ending the event with the main roster and the NXT roster tied up at 3 victories apiece. And it doesn't matter which brand of the main roster wins, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. When you look at Raw and SmackDown as the main roster as a whole, basically in the end, you're looking at a 3-3 tie, and there's no tiebreaker that's going to conclude Survivor Series to break that tie. Basically, you're going to be knotted up at 3 wins apiece. That's what I project is going to happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I feel is going to happen. And I know nobody wants to hear that. I know anybody that's an NXT diehard or an NXT fan through and through, they're hoping NXT gets put over no matter what. But if you're going to have the Fiend Bray Wyatt go up against Adam Cole in champion versus champion, you know exactly what's going to happen. You know the result. So in the end, I think basically what's going to happen is it's going to be knotted up at 3 victories apiece. Maybe one main roster victory goes to Raw, maybe another goes to SmackDown, and maybe one goes to either Raw or SmackDown as far as the elimination match goes. But in the end, folks, it's Survivor Series is just going to be utilized and looked at in the end as the event that put NXT on an equal pedestal. That's what it's going to be looked at. It's going to be looked at as the event that put NXT on an equal pedestal with Raw and SmackDown. No looking down anymore or anything like that. That's basically what Survivor Series is being utilized as a way to put NXT on that equal pedestal, so that when it comes to the Wednesday Night Wars, it'll mean even more for people watching that night to see how important NXT is and why they should watch it over AEW. That's why this is happening. That's why NXT is being put into this spot as it is. Whether it was, something that was approved of on the fly, whether it was something in the works, whatever. Basically, in the end, That's what this whole thing with NXT being involved in Survivor Series is about. It's about putting them in the end on equal footing, putting them on the same pedestal as Raw as SmackDown, and basically making them look like, and I know I'm repeating myself when I say this, but basically make them look like an equal to both. And maybe it opens the door for NXT to be involved in events like Royal Rumble again, like they've been doing with several representatives being entrants, maybe WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, who knows. But that's what I look at as far as this NXT invasion going into NXT invasion / Survivor Series angle is going. That's how I feel. That's what I feel the goal is in the end. So that's really all I can say on it, guys. I got to get back into work, but let me know what you all think down below. Do you agree with what I had to say on it? And Deluxe Man, OTR Essential, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Solomonster, JD from NY206, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. But let me know down below. Comment if you like, and I'm out.